Have you noticed that you may have been able to work 10-hour days with a commute and wake up ready to do it all over again the next day, but now by 5 p.m. you are exhausted? While there are a lot of things that are different now given the pandemic, one reason your workday may feel more tiring is the concept of decision fatigue. Understanding more about it can lead to ways to make your workdays easier. Let's check out everything on decision fatigue. Number 6. What is decision fatigue? So, what is decision fatigue and what impact does it have in and out of the workplace? In essence, decision fatigue is mental exhaustion resulting from the sheer number of decisions a person must make daily. This leads to difficulty making good decisions. That may make sense if your decisions center on a company's strategy, like what's the best marketing plan for the new product, or life-changing opportunities, like should I take that new job? The human brain, however, can get caught up in the same decision-making process around what to eat for lunch or what to wear to work. These mundane decisions, combined with more important and pressing issues, cause stress and emotional exhaustion, leading to poor choices. That's right, decision fatigue doesn't just stop you from making decisions, it can cause you to make bad decisions. Let's look at some of the results of decision fatigue. You make impulse purchases. You may have promised yourself that you'll make healthy food choices, but you've been so busy that you haven't prepared lunch or thought about what you want to eat that day. That's how you end up buying a candy bar or fast food. Your manager has asked you to come up with a schedule for a product, and you need to make sure there are several decisions about what to include, such as the steps required and what the end goal is. You find it impossible to get started on the product because there are just too many decision points. You just say no. Sometimes it's just easier to say no than to weigh the choices and make an appropriate decision. This can lead to lost opportunities. That automatic no is as bad as an impulsive yes. You get overwhelmed. The emotional impact of decision fatigue can cause stress throughout a person's life, not just at work. Too much ambiguity and too many choices, plus the additional pressure to make the right choice, can make it hard to make any decision at all, even about an activity that's pleasurable, such as choosing a movie or deciding on a game to play for family game night. Number 5. What happens to entrepreneurs who experience decision fatigue? Decision fatigue operates much like any other kind of fatigue. Entrepreneurs suffering from decision fatigue are easily distracted, have difficulty staying focused, experience greater pessimism, and lapses in judgment. Although one may not feel physically fatigued, entrepreneurs experience a decline in mental energy, the very currency needed to remain innovative and creative to grow the business. Not only does decision fatigue make you careless, it also makes you care less. People are more likely to binge on junk food after they've made a ton of decisions. That's why all the sweets are found at the checkout counter after you've deliberated choice after choice in the aisles. Number 4. What are the symptoms of decision fatigue? You might be asking, what are the symptoms of decision fatigue? You've probably experienced them without even knowing what's been causing them. Some of the symptoms include a lack of willpower. The candy bar instance in the previous section is a prime example of decision fatigue causing a lack of willpower. When it becomes hard to make a decision, it may seem like all decisions are hard. This gives minor decisions the same weight as important ones, causing stress and anxiety. Often driven by fears of making the wrong choice, procrastination can have a serious impact on work performance. Decision paralysis. We like to think having choices is a positive in a situation. However, decision paralysis results from having to evaluate too many options, weigh all the pros and cons, and try to identify risks. Now, imagine doing that for everything. Stress from the COVID-19 pandemic caused people to lose mental and emotional clarity. They were forced to make unfamiliar decisions at every opportunity, from navigating an unfamiliar grocery app to video conferencing with colleagues, compounding the usual effects of decision fatigue. As the day moves into our working lives, the list gets longer. Our decision fatigue eventually crawls in like an afternoon nap, hazing over our rationale and skewing our judgment. Why? because the more decisions we make, the harder the decisions become. Studies show that in American football games, quarterbacks are known for making poor decisions towards the end of the match, and in business, CFOs are prone to mistakes by the time the evening rolls in. But this mental burnout has some serious implications. A study which looked at 1,100 court hearings in the US found that the most influential factor in whether prisoners receive parole wasn't the length of their sentence, their crime, or their background. It was the time of their hearing. Judges granted prisoners parole 70% of the time if their hearing was in the morning, but just 10% of the time if their hearing was later in the day. Number 3. Decision fatigue in the workplace. Decision fatigue can have negative consequences in the workplace. Smart professionals try to find ways to identify the signs and take steps to avoid decision overload or minimize its impact. One of the first steps to mitigating the effects of decision fatigue is to identify it. The following are examples of how decision fatigue can impact working professionals. Healthcare workers, such as emergency responders, must make life or death decisions as a part of their jobs. Unsafe working conditions, such as accident sites, can cause confusion and add to difficulties in making decisions. Overwork, exhaustion, and high levels of stress can cause emergency responders to suffer from decision fatigue. A study of bank loan officers published in Royal Society Open Science showed that loan approval rates drop significantly in the afternoon compared to the morning. Since one marker of decision fatigue is to just say no due to depleted mental energy, this caused otherwise good loans to be rejected. The study estimated that the bank lost more than $500,000 in revenue for 1 month due to lost interest and fees. Number 2. How to improve your decision-making skills to avoid decision fatigue. Fortunately, some techniques can help you avoid decision fatigue and get your life and goals, work, home, diet, and exercise back on track. Many professionals take steps to improve their decision-making skills so they have a better chance of making the right decisions or well-informed decisions. Training and education can help improve decision-making skills. For instance, pursuing a Master of Business Administration degree can help executives and aspiring executives understand the decision-making process and the elements of good decision-making, such as be aware of your judgment and biases, learn from decisions you've made in the past, good and bad, collaborate with colleagues and get their input. Trust your gut and know when to change your mind. Number 1. How to avoid its consequences. Now that you know what decision fatigue is and how to recognize it, how do you avoid the consequences? Here are tips for managing your day. Putting the major decisions first and not sweating the small stuff. Work with your body clock. Most people have more clarity and energy before lunch. In the afternoon, they start to drag. If you can, make the most of your mental resources by making the big decisions before lunch. The same goes for meetings if your schedule allows for it. Include your colleagues in your decision-making. Sometimes we think we have to solve our problems by ourselves. Your colleagues are a resource whose experience and judgment can support your own, improving the chances of good decision-making outcomes. Some decisions are literally life and death, but most of them aren't. President Barack Obama and Steve Jobs were both known for having work uniforms, which freed them from having to stand in front of the closet in their bathrobe, wasting precious mental energy on deciding what to wear. Failing that, lay out your clothes the night before. Don't leave meal planning, going to the gym, grocery shopping, or other tasks to the last minute. Schedule them ahead of time. Keep your gym bag packed so that you won't have an excuse to hit the vending machine rather than the treadmill. One of the biggest causes of decision fatigue is exhaustion. A good night's sleep can help relieve stress and improve mental and emotional health. This in turn can help you take the time to make the right decision and avoid the pitfalls of decision fatigue. Do let us know in the comments if you ever encountered decision fatigue. Thanks for watching.